Good evening, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. So we are all welcome to today's seminar. So, but before we start, I want Dr. Mrs. Caroline to please pray for us. Dr. Mrs. Caroline, please pray for us, ma'am. Okay. I don't know, maybe she can hear me. Please, I'll call on Dr. Idowu Akonde to please pray for us to start the opening prayer.
Father, we thank you for tonight, for another opportunity to come before you to learn, to improve our skill, even as educators and as trainers. We pray, Lord, tonight you will grant the facilitator, the resource person, understanding, wisdom, and free expression in Jesus' name. And as we
Amen.
all listen, we pray we shall all be blessed and your name will be glorified. Thank you,
Amen.
Lord, because you know you've answered our prayer.
Thank you, Lord.
We pray.
Amen. Thank you so much, Dr. Idowu Akonde. So we'll start the seminar right away, and I want to welcome Dr. Ario. You're welcome, sir.
Good evening, everyone in the house. We thank God for sparing our lives and bringing us together for this weekend edition. As you have seen in our publication or our advertisements, tonight we are looking at this important title, Prospect of Artificial Intelligence in Teaching, Learning, and Assessments. I want to find out whether you can hear me.
Clearly, we can hear you clearly.
Yes, we can,
Can you hear me?
sir.
Participate.
Yes.
We can hear you, sir.
We can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much. You will see in our past edition, we look at big data, enhancement of educational assessments, use our facilitator from the data. So we've been talking about data science, and we want to see how data science can enhance educational assessments and education in general. So today we want to look at an aspect of data science. As we have done the introduction of, you have big data, you have artificial. So today we are focusing on one of them, and we are looking at artificial intelligence in teaching, learning, and assessment. Now, it's linked with development on new technology. We can see that new technologies are emerging, especially from the information technology. And presently, we are in IT era. So we cannot do without technology. We know that the aspect of computer science that is growing rapidly all over the world, and there are opportunities for those who are data scientists everywhere, because we need people that can mine data and can help us to interpret the data for human use. So you see that the software, the promising software and machines, they are welcome, and they will assist us in our educational development. Now the question is, why do we need to study, or we need to discuss this artificial intelligence? There are many reasons why we need to look at this topic tonight. Before then, let me just do a kind of introduction. What do you mean by artificial intelligence? I know it is not new to many people that are in the house, but for the sake of those who this concept may be new to, we can define artificial intelligence as a term used to describe a machine ability to simulate human intelligence. AI is a branch of computer science that emphasizes thinking and working together for human. That is, there is a machine that would think, that will simulate the thinking of human being. And it's not human being per se, but because of data that are available in the cloud and everywhere, these machines have been trained to mimic human activity, human thinking, and the other thing that human can do is have been programmed to do the same thing or even to do it better. So AI algorithm has ability to tackle learning problem, perceptions, language understanding, and etc. Why should we bring in AI? If you read some past newspaper, there are mixed feelings about artificial intelligence. Some people said that, why are you talking about artificial intelligence? Is it not the world is coming to an end? Is it a Christianly to talk about it? As we know that technology can be used positively, it can as well be used negatively. But we want to make use of this technology positively for enhancement of education in the area of teaching, in the area of assessment, and in the area of learning. Why should we study artificial intelligence? Let's look at this scenario. We are already used to analog education. We know that in the one we have, 19th century, and in the 21st century, I mean the 20th century, most of us were born in 20th century, and we were exposed to analog education. But presently now, this is 21st century. And it's a digital education. We are used to many things. Textbook, we are used to paper, pencil, kind of a textbook. We are used to notebook, we are used to chalkboard. And mathematical class, we are used to four-figure table. And all these are they used to educate us. But you know, in the 21st century, things have changed. Now, under the era of digital education, in mathematical class, we are no longer using four-figure table, and now we use a calculator. In the classroom, we are no longer using chalkboard, rather we have notes, lesson notes on using PowerPoint presentation. Now we have virtual presentation, even as you are doing presently now. We may not need to come physically together. We are having virtual classroom. And when we are assessing our students, instead of using paper, pencil test, most of our university, we are making use of computer-based tests, and some public examination body, they are also using computer-based test mode of assessment. So therefore, you see that the world is moving from analog to digital. And so education cannot be left behind. Apart from these things that are common, like calculator, electronic board, virtual presentations, computer-based tests, these are physical things that we can see. But you see, artificial intelligence is a kind of development that have been built on the existing technology that we are having. And so you see that the artificial intelligence will open new possibility and challenges for teachers, for learners, and for assessors. Now, let's look at the available materials, available investment that have been done. And let's look at some of the companies that already, they are making use of artificial intelligence. Although you may not see physically, but in their operation, it is feasible. Now, let's look at Google, for example. Have employed in their services, they have employed artificial intelligence. Then we also have Apple, Apple. We have other companies like other companies like Amazon. We have Microsoft, Facebook. All of them, they make use of artificial intelligence. So therefore, we cannot sit down and be looking. We cannot just sit down in the education industry and be folding our hands and see other people making progress in the banking industry, we in the technology industry and other areas, and we are folding our hands without doing anything. So we need to how can we apply artificial intelligence in education? Sector. Now we can see intelligent like in smart cars, in internet, in the Internet of Things. We were somewhere sometimes ago, and you know, I just went out of the hotel room. By the time I'll come back, already the place was already locked, and there are not many people in the hotel. That is, the hotelier, I think we just have one lady that was just taking care of the affairs of the hotel, both downstairs and upstairs. So I knocked at the door, and nobody opened the door. But thank God there was a bell. So when I pressed the doorbell, and I just saw that the door just got opened, and I entered. I look at the reception. Nobody was there. The reception, and yet the door was open. What you are talking about, this machine, everything has been programmed that the human being may not be there to open the door for you. And even the one that is common everywhere, you are just entering a place and you just see the door will just open by itself, or the gate just open by itself, maybe by remote control. So these are examples of where artificial intelligence have been applied. Look at the banking industry, for example. We don't need to enter into the banking hall. We have machine, ATM machine, will count the money and dispense the money. It will dispense the money to the operator. These are examples in economies, in banking industry, and in many places. Now, apart from all this, you now see that we ourselves, we need to sit up in the education industry. How can we apply artificial intelligence in our common, in our day-to-day activities? Let's look at some other common materials, or our day-to-day material we are using. For example, look at phone, for example, our handsets. There are some handsets that you can have some software on them. For example, we have Siri in your handset. And this Siri is a voice-based agent for your phone. You can give commands to the Siri. For example, we like Dr. Felix in the house now. I don't know his name, and he's around, and I said, Siri, tell me Dr. Felix's phone number. And Siri will tell me. You have some other question, just as you type something on Google and you want Google to explain something for you. So there are software on our phone, like if you have the Siri, where it is already there on your phone, you can do a lot of communication, and you tell Siri, I want this, what is the distance between here and that place, and Siri will tell you. Siri will give you a lot of information here and there. And not only that, you have another application, WASE application. It's an AI-based driving helper, and you don't need to have a driver in the vehicle, and yet you see that through the artificial intelligence, the vehicle will be driven. Then you have another one called Alexa. This one can help you to shop and browse the internet. And we have the Amazon.com. Can recommend and help you to navigate the offerings of vendor. So there are already applications that are making use of artificial intelligence. Now, in education, let's come to our own field now. This artificial intelligence will help us in many areas. Number one, in the area of personalized learning, and also in global learning. Now, in personalized learning, AI will give us opportunity for feedback as the students are learning or teachers themselves are learning. You are able to have feedback as you are using machine assistant to learn. That is one of the beautiful things about artificial intelligence. Teacher can condense lesson into smart study guides and flashcards. Unlike in the past, where students is limited by with interaction with their lecturers, with their professor. But you see, with the artificial intelligence, students can now access a larger windows time for interacting with their lecturers. And you can see that AI can easily give us feedback. It can suggest to us the area of weakness and the area of strength of the learner. Not only that, artificial intelligence will provide us with global learning. Education will no longer be limited to what we know in our own particular country. Now you can see that artificial intelligence can bring a lot of making use of data that is global here and there and put all of them together, and then we can learn. We can learn from what other people are learning. Now, this artificial intelligence is been applied in many ways. What I want to do tonight is just to introduce to us some of the applications that are available that can be used in education. For example, we have one that is called latest learning. It's an artificial intelligence interface. This one enables lecturers to create electronic curriculum. And that will surprise you. Instead of cracking our brain, sitting down for hours and preparing curriculum for ourselves, already we have an artificial intelligence that can do that for us. And you have another one that is called, that can do digital textbook. It's called CRAM 101. This one, what it does is that it gathers the traditional syllabuses and it creates customized textbook for certain subjects. As a result, textbooks are being digitalized and new learning interfaces are being created to help students of all academic grades and ages. So you see there that already artificial intelligence is available to prepare electronic curriculum, to even write textbooks, digital textbooks. So therefore, if we are not aware of this, IT will just take over the education industry. Before we know it, students will no longer come to class. And that's why we too, we must move along with IT and collaborate with people that are in IT. The IT people, is not that they are more intelligent than teachers and lecturers. Where we prepare the content and we share our mind with them, we collaborate with them, and we'll tell them that instead of analog, we want it to become digital. And it will surprise you what they will be able to give us. And then things become better. And then we have machine assistant that will be helping us to deliver our lecture in a more easier way and in a better way. Not only that, we have another one that is called smart content. This technology has already reached a classroom setting. Smart content include virtual content like video conferencing and video lectures. So all these are already available, and they make use of artificial intelligence. This one is common now, not only in the West or UK, but even in Africa. We have what you call automate grading. Now you see, with the introduction of computer-based tests, we now have technology whereby grading of responses or candidates can be done instantaneously. Immediately the students, they write the exam, immediately they finish, the machine will do the marking and the grading. And then you can view your score even before you leave the hall of examination. All these are possible because of artificial intelligence. And not only that, it will score you, it will give you analysis of the result. It gives you a kind of factor analysis of even the question itself. You arrange the question, maybe you have about 50 items, and then it will tell you that this so question belongs to this particular subscale. This other one belongs to this subscale. And it will be that you will see the responses and the area of the weakness of your student. With that kind of analysis, you'll be able to help the student better in the area that they are weak. This one is not possible when we are doing grading manually. But with the computer-based test, this can be done. With the analysis, we can do things better. Not only that, we also have automated scoring of student written responses and online testing. I know many of us in this platform, we are aware of item response. We know that a lot of things can be done. With the knowledge of item response theory, we talk about dichotomous item, and we know how we can do the analysis, and the system, the item analysis can be done. But apart from this, the essay kind of test, there are software now that are even using the existing one, like Excalibur and other things. We can also do the same thing as we are using them for MCQ questions. So you can see that artificial intelligence can also be employed as we collaborate with the IT people. Apart from the little we have been able to do, that we can administer our tests, our examination using CBT, and doing automated scoring. Many other things can be built in now that artificial intelligence can enhance our educational assessment. Not only that, this AI also, there is another one that we call presentation translator. For example, as I'm presenting tonight, there are two sets of people that can benefit from the presentation. Those who are not those who are not having problem with they are not having problem with their eye, they can see, they can read the slide. And those who are not having problem with their ear, they can also hear the presenter. But suppose we have in the class people that are deaf, and they cannot hear. Now, with the artificial intelligence, there is presentation translator. You cannot hear, but you can see. Or you cannot see, you can hear. No, artificial intelligence will present the presentation, and that's why we say it becomes universal presenter, universal access for all students. So, so that is what artificial intelligence can do. And not only that, maybe as we are even presenting, like Bino and all that, artificial intelligence may come to a point that it can even read people's eyes and say this person is not even following up with this font, and it can change the fonts, it can change the font size, it can change the font and make it adaptable to the person that is watching the screen. These are possible with an intelligent machine. There was, from literature, I read that a lecturer successfully used an AI chatbot to communicate with students as a teaching assistant throughout the semester without students knowing they were not talking to a human. Now you see that many of our lecturers, they need graduate assistant to assist them to do one thing or the other. Now, with as we bring in the artificial intelligence, the machine will act as graduate assistants for us. At present, there are digital platforms like content technology that use AI to provide learning, testing, and feedback to students from nursery level to college level. We thank God in this association, the participants are not limited to Africa alone. For some time now, we have been having people joining us from the West, from Europe, and we can collaborate with them. And then most of these software can be made available. Some of them are also planning with the executive to help us in Nigeria. And as time goes on, some of these things we are saying will become practical, and we all will benefit as we partner with those who already they are in developed country. Now, let's now look at the area of educational assessment. How can we apply artificial intelligence? Well, automated item generation. Gone are the days why lecturers will have to do all the teaching, we have to set all the questions. Gone are the days why people that work in examination bodies, they have to work throughout the clock, they have to generate items, they have to analyze the items. Now today, with the artificial intelligence, we can have automated item generation. Then we can also have automated test assembly for the linear on the fly test. Then we have already said that we now have automated scoring of student written responses and then multiple MCQ items. Then also we can have computerized adaptive testing. And then when we begin computer adaptive testing, I think that will be solution to the problem we are having of examination malpractice. By the time we start computerized adaptive testing, now the machine will help us because the question will be tailored to the ability of the testee, and then there will not be need for cheating because it will enable us to be able to measure the ability of the candidate. And also we have the area of research and exploration. A lot can be done with the use of artificial intelligence. A lot of research can be done, and a lot of we as a teacher, we are not how do we use artificial intelligence, or how do we what are the things we are going to do to create one for ourselves. All we need to do is to collaborate with them. This is what I want, and they will provide solution, and they will be able to help us in the area of our need. Now, let me summarize all we have been saying. What possibility or prospects that we can have in using artificial intelligence. Teachers can now become facilitator instead of just being a teacher or just being a tutor or just being an assessor. You see that with the use of artificial intelligence, teachers and lecturers will just become a facilitator. And you know, our teaching, our training should be student-centered. And so with this software available, the needs of the student will be personally met. Now, it can point out places where courses need to improve. Even our curriculum needs to be improved. Our teaching practice, our teaching methodology, our method of assessment, everything needs improvement. Artificial intelligence can help us to do that. Students will get additional support from AI tutor. AI-driven program can give students and educator helpful feedback. AI may change where students learn, who teaches them, and how they acquire basic skills. Now, you know what is trending in the news. In the next 15 years, do we need university? Do we need university again? Do we need university again? Yes, we need university. Some people are saying, no, we don't need university again. But whether we need university in the next 15 years, or we don't need, or we need to think ahead. Just like what happened in the banking industry. You know, many people lost their job at the advent of technology. You know, many of the staff were laid off from banks, and you know, they are not as rich as their clients, their customers like before. and know why. But those people that are IT experts among them, they didn't lose their job. So in the nearest future, teachers that are not learning, teachers that are not technologically minded may lose their job because they will become irrelevant. But those who are learning, those who are growing with technology, they will not lose their job because they will be the one to tell the IT people what to do. They will provide the content and they will give them specification. That is why we are attending seminars like this, so that we all will learn and God will help us. And to conclude this webinar, there is no doubt that innovation is tied to technology that is greatly needed in the wide variety of educational systems. Therefore, AI application, when employed or explored, will definitely enhance teacher effectiveness and students' learning. Now, what are our recommendations to teachers, to researchers, to lecturers, to students that are in the house? The overwhelming amount of data available to us on the internet need to be carefully curated for optimal use. There are a lot of data that are now available here and there that if we sit down and we work with the IT expert, apart from the way we are assessing the students, there are a lot of data. Somebody said that the particular part of the globe, the maximum mark they can give to somebody, a student who go to the class, to write your exam, and you don't even know, you don't even have anything to write, but you attended the exam, they will give you 2 marks. And then somebody wonder, why should you do that? Why should you do that? Now, those people, they are wiser. They felt that, well, it's not only the question you are giving to the student you should assess. There are many other things. That person left his house in the cold. Was your class information about that student? That means that you want to assess, you want to measure. So you cannot give him 0. But in the part of Africa where we are, we'll say that is not fair. That is not just. So, but with the highly measure people's ability. For example, let me give you another scenario. For example, you have assessed the student. Maybe the maximum score is 4. And then you have a lot of only 50 out of them to the next class. You only want to promote only 50, or you want to select 50 out of 200 candidates. And now 400 is the maximum mark. And a lot of them score 200. If out of the 100 county, but 30 people that score 200, and then the rest either the score be about 200 or less than 200. Now you have problem. Which of these 200 are you going to select? That is a scenario. You have many of them. You only want to select 50 out of 100, and about 70 of them, 70 out of 100 people score 200. Now you are faced with a dilemma. Are you going to arrange their names using maybe I will throw that question to us at the end of the study, or just take it down, you provide the answer for me. Now you have 100 candidates that have taken an exam, and the maximum score is 400, and you want to select only 50 people. Out of the 100 that took the exam, 200 people, I mean, you have a score that tally 200. How are you going to make your selection? Because you find out that out of these 50 people you want to select, many of them, they have a score of 200. How do you go about it? I will want answer from the class before I will now tell you what I feel we should do in order to solve such problem. That's where the the machine will come in to help us. When we have situation like that, there are things we can do. The machine will help us to even still bring the strength. The 200 look common to all of them, but we can still have something. The machine will help us to be able to know that these 200, exactly all of them are not having 200. There are still variation in their 200, and from there we can be able to pick the 200 that are strong. I will not pick the 200 that are weak. Not only that, we want to recommend that since AI will help us to focus on social aspect of learning. It will not, AI will not help us to focus on the area of social aspect of learning, but teachers can focus on that. Why we leave the other things for the machine to do for us? If a student has special needs, the role of the AI assistants in the classroom can become more significant. And a specific AI assistance can change the fonts, provide active support for those visually impaired, or provide simpler looking characters with more monotonous voices to alleviate the overwhelming input for autistic learners. These are all possible through the AI. And I believe that as we key into it and as we research more into all this, sky may not be the limit of where we are going. Just like the present situation we find ourselves in 2020, which has hindered 100% classroom tutoring, even till this 2021. Not all the students physical classroom, because with the issue of virtual learning, virtual teaching, meaningful learning is still going on, and meaningful assessment also can be done. So application will really help us. A lot of teaching, a lot of learning physically. Thank you very much for your rapt attention. Over to you, the moderator. I think it's a period of contribution to the study. I don't have the monopoly of the knowledge. I want us to, people in the house, we have professors in the house, doctors in the house, and the students in the house. We want to give us privilege to contribute to the presentation, to enrich it, and also to ask questions, and also to answer my question. I just came across a study during the week. Already somebody did the research from Rivers State in Nigeria, and he wanted to know about the awareness of people about artificial intelligence. I was so much fascinated with that study. And from there, the little thing I read is that many people, many subjects, they are not aware of artificial intelligence. So the lecture today may not be all that elaborate, but at least we have done a little bit of sensitization. And as you are already in the house, you have learned a little. I believe you learn a little. You'll be able to also let people know that we can apply artificial intelligence in education. So over to us now. I think if you raise up your hand or you unmute yourself, we will allow you to contribute. Thank you very much. Or you can use the feature of chat. If you don't want to speak, you can also write something and then we can read it out, or you can unmute yourself and then contribute. And maybe you two have done some research here and there, or you have read something. Let us also learn from you, and you can also add to what the presenter of tonight have said. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hello. Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Hello,
thank
we
you
can
so
hear
much.
you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. IAIIEA, for this presentation. It is very timely and it's insightful. And that's what we need in this 21st century. I was reading a WhatsApp message, I think this morning, of an old man and his son. The son said that why does he need to go to the bank when he can do mobile transfer? He can even buy food stuff from grocery without leaving the house. And the man said, "Is it that I will not meet with people?" And the son said, "Yes, yes, so that you won't have to meet anybody." And the man said, "No, that staying in the bank for 1 hour or more is important for me because you'll be able to interact with things in the bank." In fact, he had seen 4 of his friends, and those are keeping him going at this point of his age. And also, somebody had an accident, and because they know themselves in the neighborhood, it was very easy for someone to help him uh, in that aspect. But if everybody now goes artificial intelligence, then the human feelings and human face will not be there anymore. And I'm talking with respect to African culture, where everybody has one person connected to him or her. So I'm having the danger of losing touch with people around is something we should also consider when we're talking about artificial intelligence. Though artificial intelligence is very good and it makes life easier, but at the same time, we should also do social aspect. So our lecturer told us today that the teachers will be able to handle the aspect of social interaction. I'm just wondering in my mind which aspect and in which way will teacher handle social interaction when children are not able to see themselves, they cannot interact among themselves, they are not likely to have friends. So they are only the friend is their device, the other laptop or phone. So let's also look and interrogate the aspect of social activity when we talk about artificial intelligence. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Adewale. Thank you for your own school of thoughts. I know that you are also an advocate of artificial intelligence. The machine, just as we are told that computer is garbage in, garbage out. It is whatever we want to use it for that we actually use it for. So we will not be out of service, even though if we welcome artificial intelligence, it will just be an assistant to education industry. Thank you very much for your observation and your contribution.
Okay, sorry, can I move on?
Yes, you can.
Hello?
Yes,
Thank you so
can.
much. Yes, just as you said, I'm an advocate of AI. Yes, very much. But we are designing our curriculum for artificial intelligence in education for master's program, which we are presenting to postgraduate college for approval. And when this happens, we're going to have, a 2-year program that we devote itself to artificial intelligence in education, where machine learning, deep learning, data science, and all of that will be taken care of. The aspects of statistics, computer aspects, and to the area of producing our own product, so that we don't depend on other people who had made their program available. Then we just learn how to use. We start from scratch to develop our own program, And that's going to be the project for the students. And each of them, the best will be, have an award. So that's the program we have. And I'm sorry using this opportunity as if I'm advertising our program. Just as you said that I am an advocate. So that's why I'm bringing this up. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. This association is for everybody at the IAIIEA education level, at the secondary school level, and at the primary school level. We collaborate, so whichever idea that we have, as we share with one another, we are to help one another to fulfill our vision. Just like the association already have a book titled Introduction to Big Data in Educational Assessment. It's a small book, but it has been written with African content. Most of the illustration there in the book is drawn from Africa, specifically Nigeria and West African countries. So you may need a course IAIIEA.org. I say it again, info@IAIIEA.org. Our post office services from different parts of even postal services outside the country. It's only that it's very expensive to send books to other countries, but our post office in Nigeria, that service is also available. EMS. So if you need a copy of the book, just send an email to info@IAIIEA.org, or you can call us on +234 015 859 1610. So thank you very much. I know some other people still want to contribute. Let me give us more opportunity to contribute. You can please unmute yourself or you raise up your hand. You have the floor. If you want to say something, please, you can unmute yourself. While we are preparing to say something, I want to ask the question I gave you before. I want to answer, and I may call on anybody to answer the question if nobody is raising up the hand to answer the question. I gave you a scenario. I have 100 candidates, and I want to select only 50. I want to make selection of 50, maybe for promotion or for hiring or for admission, whatever. I have 100 candidates. And I just discovered out of these 100 candidates, maximum score is 200, maximum score is 400 points. And I discovered that 70 people had a score of 200, and I want to select 50. You will see that out of these 50, a lot of, I will have to pick people that score 200. My problem now is that who will I pick? Who will I not pick? Those of them that have the score of 200. So with the knowledge of what we are studying today, how do you think I'll be able to make a fair selection? Who want to answer the question? What will I do? Will I arrange the names of candidates alphabetically? We are not even encouraged to have their names, so that when we are doing the scoring, if it is manual scoring, we don't want them to write their names, so that we will not even know them, so that we can avoid the halo effect. Now, so what do you think I will do? What do you think? How can the knowledge we have learned, we have gained tonight, how can you help me? Yes, I need answer. Can we have Mrs. Bukola Tobatele? Do you want to make an attempt? Yes, what do you think we can do? Bukola Tobatele, if you are in the house. I think you are in the house, you are in the hall.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma.
Well done, sir. Thank you for this for this enlightenment. I think that maybe the data of the analysis of those things can be subjected to any of the package or IAIIEA something that we are talking about. I'm just hearing it for the first time, and I've been enlightened tonight about it, and I'll go and read more about it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that attempt. Yes, can I call another person before our professor will do justice to that question? Let me call somebody outside Nigeria. I'm not sure, but with the names, I can guess if somebody is outside Nigeria. It's like many of them, they are no longer there. They have let us alone. Okay, let me call, is it Dr. Yang Ekpeyong? Yes, can you answer that question? What do you think I can do? Are you a doctor? Yes, sorry, I don't know your title. You can correct me if you're a professor. Tell us you're a professor or your title, please. Yang Ekpeyong. You can please unmute yourself. Or maybe it's finding difficult to unmute himself. And I call another person to help us. A woman has already said something. Can we have Stephen more? I don't know whether you're a doctor, you're a professor, you're a mister. Can you answer that question if you are with us in the house? Stephen Moore.
Hello. So I'm new. I just joined a few minutes ago, so I could not get the full story. However, so I'll just be listening and trying to get what the full story is. But I do not know exactly what you have discussed so far.
Okay, I try to portray it. Yeah, did you get this? Hello?
Hello?
I'm repeating myself because of my friend, Stephen Moore, who just joined the house. This is the question. I have a scenario. I had 100 candidates. I am trying to examine them for promotion or for hiring or for admission. And they are 100 in number, and I only want to select only 50 among them. But to my dismay, the maximum score is 400, and 70 of them score 200. So you now see that in my selection, I have to select many of them that score 200. So, and I want to be fair, and I don't want to arrange their name alphabetically. And I want to be fair. What will I do to be able to be fair in my selection? That is the question. If Stephen Moore cannot answer, anybody in the house who has something to tell us so that we can learn from you, tell us what we can do.
Okay, so I'll first, let me just chip in then. So I'm Dr. Moore from University of Cape Coast, Ghana.
Okay, you are welcome.
Yeah, so in such a case, you have to think, do you want gender, do you want to consider gender bias or something? So you can do it like that first. Consider maybe you want to select 400, you want to select 200 of them. So you can consider that, well, you give some particular slots to females. And then in that case, you consider females in a set and then choose amongst them. But it's quite, I think it's a bit tricky because if they just took the exams and you have to make choices based on that exam score, it's a bit tricky. Maybe you can consider other parameters or other possibilities of introducing maybe some other things, maybe their CVs or something to look at it and make a good decision of who they are in general. So this is my personal idea or what I'll suggest.
Okay, let me be more specific now. I don't want to be biased in this selection. I want to select purely on merit. No gender, nothing like that. I just want to select 100 people objectively. So I want to give two more, who want to help us? Yes, how we
Hello.
can do it scientifically. Yes, thank
Hello.
you. Yes,
Hello.
you are welcome.
I mean, young.
Okay, you are
Hello. Yeah.
welcome.
Okay, sir. If the exams were taken online,
Can you let us know your institution and your title? Yes.
I'm Young, call me teacher Young. I'm from Federal Government Girls College, Calabar.
You are welcome.
Yes, sir. If the exam was an online examination or they were working on an online system, okay, the best way I think is for those who submit faster, the first number that's submitted that got the correct answer, we should use that parameter to take them.
Okay, that is
Hello.
Okay, we have heard you. Okay,
okay.
You are looking. You want to use the timing factor.
Yes, the timing factor. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Can we have more contribution from the house? Thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution. I expect many of us to say something. I'm waiting for us to help us with the knowledge of what you are learning today on machine. What do you think we can do to be able to be fair? And
somebody's hand is up.
Okay, please, you have the floor. If your hand is up, please, you can.
Okay. Good evening, Prof.
Good evening. Please,
my name is Dr.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Dr. Ifeoma Roslyn Iketaku from Enugu.
You are welcome.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
You see, when people have the same scores, maybe people have 200, 200, 200, 200. There is no 200 that is above the other 200. So it's somehow a little bit difficult to select which one. You cannot use alphabetical arrangement. You cannot use their height. You cannot use their ages. You cannot use... Now, what I feel we should do is that, apart from maybe subjecting it to some other analysis, just like you've said, I didn't join quite early. I joined later, but I know I had your question. What I feel we should do is that when we now have 7 points above what we want, then you cannot take the 70. What you do is that you now remove all those ones that didn't score up 17 and then retest these ones. Continue removing. Continue removing that you want. That is a fair way that I think should be done.
Okay, thank you. That is if you have that luxury of time to do that. Suppose it's a high-stake exam. Okay, anyway, it's not an high-stake exam because there are only 100 students. I mean, there are only 200 students. I mean, 400 students. Okay, there are only 100 students, so it's not a high-stake. It's not a large-scale examination. So you have the luxury of time to do that. But now, scientifically, what do you think we can do? I still need more suggestions. Yes. How can we employ machine to help us or any other means we can use?
Maybe I can chip in.
Yes.
So I know that sometimes, so for test scores, for instance, for SAT, GRE, sometimes these test scores are based on some techniques that are used as well. So even if 2 people get the same score, sometimes you can check, you are able to check on their strength based on the questions they answered. And with that, you can use some kind of, if you want to use some artificial intelligence method, then maybe probably an NLP or something can be good to really help determine, classify these, those who are getting 200, who are getting the same score, but maybe in a bit of a difficult questions area. So this is the only suggestion that I can also look at.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think our elder, they are in the house. They just want all of us to say one thing or the other. We have experts that they are analysts. They are in the house. They are hearing all we are saying. Yeah, there are software that are available we can use, and I believe they will tell us to be able to know the strengths or score 200. A score 200, B has 200, C has 200. Those 200, they are not the same. So let's still listen to more people so that before our professors will do justice to the question, and before I make my own comments. Yes, do we still have somebody who want to say something?
My name is...
Yes, you can. You have the audience. Yes, we are hearing you. Yes. Please kindly introduce yourself, your name and your institution. Okay, any other persons, because of our time? Yes, any person that has solution to this question, can be a prof, can be a doctor, it can be anyone that is an expert in analysis. Yes, so that we can save time.
Okay, let me say this. You want to select 50 people, and 70 of them scored the same score. The implication is that the assumption is that each question carries equal mark ab initio. However, that is a wrong way of looking at test items. Some test items are stronger than the other based on their facility indices. And so using the weighting of a test, you can actually get the true score of individuals. And in that case, just as the presenter made mention of Excalibur, there are other software also that can be used in determining the difficulty level. That's the same thing as facility index I mentioned the other time. For example, a test can weigh as small as 3 points, and one test is weighing just only 1. Some will even be 0 point something. So when we make use of these difficulty level, what we can call the B parameter, it is possible for us to get the aggregate score for each candidate. At that point in time, you will see that those who score the same number, who have the same score of 200, 200, 200, can now begin to see variation in their scores based on the B parameter that have been used. And as many of us that I believe that we understand what I mean by B parameter. And if we don't, I mean, our presenter of today can arrange for him to talk about all the A parameter, the B parameter, the C parameter, and even also the D parameter. I think it has been mentioned in this forum before. However, if you use the parameter for this scenario, we can get the true picture of getting the 50 people that we are actually interested in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Adewale. I think that is the solution to my problem, the question I raised. Whether we are doing paper testing or computer testing, it's advisable we should do analysis of student response. Even those of us that are still making use of paper pencil testing, if it is an objective test, you can subject it to electronic marking, and then there you can use software like Excalibur to be able to analyze student responses. Like you can now determine the indices, the difficulty index, discrimination index, and other parameters, as Prof has already mentioned. So with this, and if it is you are using computer-based testing, even when you are using computer-based tests, you have a lot of information that the paper pencil test will not give you. Like our friend who mentioned about the timing, the computer, you can get data about how long did it take somebody to answer a particular question, how long, how many seconds, how many minutes. In the paper pencil, that one will be very difficult. You can only time them when they submitted or when they submit their paper, or you may not be able to time them. How long did it take them to write a particular, to answer one particular question. So when you are using computer-based tests, a lot of information, a lot of data will naturally generated. And just for us to mine those data and then do analysis, that you will now know that you'll be able to so that there are some 200 data, a lot of things can be done through machine. Thank you very much for everybody who have participated in today's webinar. And I believe that if you also have something to share with us during this weekend or any other day, please feel free to write us. And then you can also call us on the number that we already. Nobody had the monopoly of knowledge, and the association is for everybody. Even if you belong to other association, our own goal, our emphasis is on innovation, and any innovation can come from anywhere. So see you next time.